Saw the money and got activated. Saw the money and got activated. Saw that money and got activated. I saw that money and got activated.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. I promise this is a different day. It just happens to be dark every time we get a chance to work. And you know, like, I swear I changed my clothes. It's just I only own black hoodies and I always wear this coat because it's like a work coat. So like, just, yeah, I promise this is a different video. So my goal for the end of this, by the end of this video, is to have this engine and transmission out of the truck. Ideally, I would like to have most of it done by the end of the night, but I'm going to be realistic and say that it probably won't be by the end of the night. It'll probably be over the course of this week. But yeah, I want to get the engine and transmission out of this thing, and then, you know, start kind of getting everything else out of the way, because it's just taking up space. So with that being said, before we do anything, we need to clean the garage up first, because I cannot work in this any longer. Usually what'll happen is I'll like keep letting it get bad and bad and bad and bad, and then we usually will kind of finally organize it. But yeah, it's a complete mess. And our diff back there has been slowly leaking, so we need to go get some cat litter as well. But I'm not going to blob on. I'm going to get started on that, and I'll catch up with you guys when we start working on the truck. Okay, so we got the garage, I wouldn't call clean, but tidied up for sure. So now we're about to make even more of a mess. I think the plan is I'm just going to take parts off and throw them in the cab, because we can sort through it later on what we want, because some stuff I'm sure we will want to keep or try to sell or whatever. So I'm going to dive into it, and then I might try to put you guys on a time lapse. Okay, so we've ran into one small hurdle that I guess I didn't realize that other car companies did this, but the front core support is actually spot welded in. I guess I didn't expect this, mostly because the on first gens and like Dodges and stuff, they are all bolt-in core supports, so you can unbolt them and remove them to make it easier for pulling the engine out and stuff like that. Along with the inner fenders, they also bolt to the firewall and stuff, these are all spot welded, which is kind of dumb, but I guess that's just more work that we're gonna have to go through, because it has spot welds all the way down up here and across. But I guess the good news is that most of this stuff is junk anyway, so I can kind of just cut whatever off and go from there. I honestly am kind of thinking about just taking a Sawzall and literally just cutting this straight down, because these inner fenders are rotted out anyways. And I'm thinking about doing tube structural inner fenders here, like running a tube welding a tube to the firewall and then bringing it down kind of like a tube front clip like you would see on like a Fox body or something. Just because these inner fenders are going to get cut out anyway, so like there's almost no reason to even have these aside from structure. So I'm really considering just cutting that off. Either way, they got to be replaced, so I think that's what we're going to do. So just kind of filling you guys in on that. And yeah, had to cut the Sawzall the front bumper off because it was a pain. I guess the nice thing is that most of this thing is junk, so we can kind of just cut and clip whatever. One thing I want to keep the wiring harness intact and everything to do with anything we can sell pretty much. So okay, so we got pretty far. Obviously, we didn't get as far as I thought we would. I tend to do that a lot, where I kind of like I overestimate what I can get done in a night, not knowing what actually needs to be done to get it out. So like obviously I didn't know about the front core support needing being, you know, tack welded in, and then like there's a lot of hoses. Obviously like a lot of the vacuum lines I just cut, because if I sell this engine they're gonna already have you know, all the vacuum line stuff, which I mean it's not like it's a wire that I'm cutting. They can always buy vacuum lines. So I cut, although it looks like a lot of stuff is connected, a lot of it is actually cut and out of the way. So from as far as I can tell, it's pretty much ready to come out. We just got to get under the truck and pretty much disconnect anything to do with the transmission. There might be a few little hidden stuff plugged underneath the engine. Other than that, it should be ready to go. The nice thing is they have these hooks right here. And as you can tell, we just cut the front core support off, which it's looking like this is going to need replaced anyways because it's pretty rusty. Like I said, probably will do those tube front clip kind of deal. We won't be running inner fenders anyways. And here's all of our metal from, you know, tearing this thing apart. I think I said it already once in a video, but if you do scrap metal, you collect scrap metal, you turn it in or whatever, let me know and you can have this stuff for free and anything that comes off the truck. But yeah, guys, I think that's gonna be it for tonight. And then I think we're gonna dive right back into it tomorrow. So, you know, hopefully tomorrow we'll have the engine out and the transmission out. That's the plan at least, but I haven't even looked under the truck yet to see what kind of issues we'll run into. I actually just thought of the exhaust. We'll probably just chop the exhaust off so that we don't have to worry about that. But yeah, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow. And we're back, and I promise it's a different day. We're gonna roll underneath here and take a look at what we got to do to get this transmission unbolted, and then we'll start tackling that, and I'll catch up with you guys in a second. Okay, so we got one small dilemma here. So the cross member, which you see hanging right here, I've got it unbolted on one side, and then there's two bolts that bolt it to the transmission in the middle. You probably can't see them, but those are unbolted. And then we got to the other side, and the bolt heads are so rusted that they've like fallen apart. So like you can't even get a socket on them to make it twist. So that's probably going to make things have a little bit of a headache. The good news is I believe I can lift the transmission up off of the cross member and kind of pull it forward. Now if we were stuck pulling the transmission in the downward position, we'd probably be pretty screwed. Another thing is I don't really care about anything on the truck, so if anything we can probably put a pry bar on this cross member and kind of bend it down as far as we can. So I think we're going to go ahead and unbolt the engine and then start trying to tug everything out. I already know there's going to be stuff that's still connected, but we'll probably just cut whatever's in our way. So I guess it's time, boys. And just like that, we've got an engine out. This is super sketchy because this thing could fall on me. I'm just trying to get it stuffed back in the corner so that it's out of our way. Sometimes you just need a little persuasion. take a couple pictures of this thing, post it up for sale, and probably make money plus profit off of what we sold for the truck, or what we paid for the truck. So if we're getting hypothetical here, I got this thing for free if I can sell this, which I should, because it's a KA and people buy KAs all day long. So at least I think they do. So we made one heck of a mess. Like, there's gasoline, trans fluid, coolant, gear oil, and probably a little bit of blood somewhere in here. I literally, like, pulling this engine was so nice because I gave absolutely no fucks at all. I literally just pulled it out, and it actually went really well. Like, I didn't even cut that much stuff. Like, I just lopped the exhaust off, which it was cut off anyways. Now I've got the shifter thing. I actually pulled that out with the C-clip. Only wires I cut were to the trans. I'm not going to need that wiring harness, and whoever buys it isn't going to need it. But if they do need it, they got the most important part. It's the plugs and stuff. So okay, so now it's out in its final resting place for till its great new buyer comes along and picks it up. This is what we're working with. We got a shove an LS right here. Obviously we are a long ways from that. Pretty much everything you're looking at has to disappear. Get this thing down to the bare frame. You can see where the rust was I was talking about on the frame that we got to fix. Aside from that, just being under the truck, it didn't look too bad. Definitely want to get it sandblasted though, just so we can see where it's kind of rusty and where it's not, so we can get it all fixed up. I think what we're gonna do is try to just kind of pull the cab off with everything on it, because this is all attached to the cab, which is very weird. The front like clip and stuff is all spot welded to the cab. So I think what I'm going to try to do is just disconnect the steering linkage, and pretty much we'll just cut any lines that are attached there, because we're not going to keep any of the factory brake lines. We're not going to keep any of the factory fuel lines or anything like that. Everything is going to be brand new. Probably custom lines, I'm sure, like stainless braided or something, considering it'll have upgraded brakes and a fuel cell and stuff like that. So we'll probably just disconnect the steering linkage and then hopefully just lift this thing off. It's probably going to be a pain, because if it's these bolts up here were pretty seized, so I imagine the rest of the cab's going to be the same way. So we might end up just cutting off the cab mounts with the Sawzall. I don't know, we'll see. But I don't know, I'm pretty proud of the progress we made, considering we started pulling the engine yesterday. I mean, literally, like, everything was in it. Like, you could turn the key yesterday, and it's out now, and the front core support's out, everything is out, the hood's off. So pretty much this is the easy stuff. Once we get it down to the frame, get that cleaned up, and then start actually putting expensive parts in this thing, that's where stuff gets hard. So with that being said, guys, I think that's going to pretty much wrap up this video. If any of you are interested in a KA24E that's fully dressed with a transmission for $500, you're more than happy to come and get it. Also, the seats are for sale. If you want those, $50. They're in actually pretty good shape. They look like they just need kind of clean, scrubbed up a little bit, and they should be ready to rock and roll. But yeah, so with that being said, guys, appreciate you guys watching, and hopefully you guys are as excited as I am for this. And just another piece to the puzzle. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Deuces.
Cause they say that I'm a bad kid.